This video provides brief information about the pistols used by the Spanish Army in combat during World War I. The Campo-Giro M1913-16 was an advanced semi-automatic military pistol developed in Spain in the early 20th century and represents an important step in the evolution of Spanish service handguns. It was designed by Colonel Venancio López de Ceballos y Aguirre, better known as Campo-Giro, specifically to meet the requirements of the Spanish Army. The pistol appeared at a time when many armies were transitioning from revolvers to self-loading pistols, and its design reflected ambitious engineering solutions for that era. The original Campo-Giro Model 1913 was introduced before the First World War, but practical service use revealed several shortcomings. As a result, an improved version, officially known as the Model 1913-16, was adopted in 1916. This updated variant incorporated mechanical refinements that improved reliability and durability. Production was carried out in Spanish state arsenals, primarily at Oviedo, and the pistol was issued mainly to Spanish Army officers and selected military units. One of the most distinctive features of the Campo-Giro M1913-16 is its short recoil, rotating barrel locking system. When a round is fired, the barrel and slide recoil together for a short distance, after which the barrel rotates slightly to unlock from the slide, allowing the action to cycle. This system made it possible to safely use the powerful 9x23mm Largo cartridge, which was significantly stronger than many contemporary pistol rounds. The rotating barrel concept used in the Campo-Giro later influenced other European pistol designs. The pistol operates in single-action mode and features an external hammer. A manual safety lever is mounted on the frame, allowing the weapon to be carried safely with a chambered round. Feeding is provided by a single-column detachable magazine with a standard capacity of 8 rounds. The frame and slide are made of steel, and the grip panels were typically manufactured from wood or early synthetic materials, depending on the production batch. In terms of dimensions, the Campo-Giro M1913-16 has an overall length of approximately 225 mm with 165 mm barrel. Its unloaded weight is about 0.05 kilograms, making it relatively heavy for a service pistol, but this mass helped reduce recoil and improved controllability when firing the powerful 9mm Largo cartridge. The pistol is equipped with simple open iron sights, adequate for military use at typical combat distances. In service, the Campo-Giro M1913-16 was valued for its power, accuracy, and solid construction, but it also had notable disadvantages. The mechanism was mechanically complex and expensive to manufacture, which limited large-scale production. Maintenance in field conditions was more demanding than with simpler designs. For these reasons, the Spanish Army eventually replaced it in the late 1920s with the Astra 400, a more robust and simpler pistol that used the same cartridge. In conclusion, the Campo-Giro M1913-16 is a historically significant Spanish military pistol that combined innovative engineering with strong ballistic performance. Although it was ultimately superseded by more practical designs, it played an important role in the transition to modern semi-automatic service pistols and remains a noteworthy example of early 20th century firearms development, well suited for discussion in an academic or seminar setting.
The Browning FN 1903, also known as the FN Model 1903, is a semi-automatic pistol designed by the legendary firearms designer John Browning and manufactured by Fabrique Nationale FN in Herstal, Belgium. Introduced in the early 20th century, it became widely recognized for its reliability, compact design, and innovative features for the period. This pistol was primarily intended for military and police use, though it also found popularity among civilians due to its manageable size and ease of handling. The FN-1903 is chambered for the .32 ACP 7.65 x 17 mm Browning SR cartridge, a small caliber round that allowed for a relatively slim and lightweight design without sacrificing sufficient stopping power for self-defense purposes. The pistol operates on a blowback action, which is simple and robust, making it very reliable and easy to maintain. Its magazine is housed within the grip and typically holds 7 rounds, with some variations featuring an 8-round magazine. One of the most notable aspects of the Browning FN-1903 is its ergonomic design. The pistol features a straight-line grip and slide, which helps in managing recoil, and a hammer-fired mechanism with both single-action and double-action capability depending on the production variant. Safety mechanisms include a manual safety lever and a firing pin block, providing secure handling and reducing the risk of accidental discharge. In terms of dimensions, the Browning FN-1903 is compact and easily concealable, with an overall length of approximately 174 mm, 6.85 inches, a barrel length of 97 mm, 3.8 inches, and a weight of around 0.64 kilograms, 1.41 pounds unloaded. Its metal construction and solid frame contribute to its durability, while the wooden grip panels add both comfort and aesthetic appeal. The pistol's sights are fixed, typically a front blade and rear notch, providing adequate accuracy for close-range engagements. Historically, the FN-1903 gained a reputation for its reliability under harsh conditions, a trait common to Browning designs. It was adopted by several European military and police forces in the early 20th century and saw service during both World Wars, particularly in Belgian, Dutch, and German use. Collectors today value the FN-1903 not only for its historical significance, but also for its classic Browning design and mechanical simplicity. Overall, the Browning FN-1903 represents an important step in the evolution of semi-automatic pistols. Its combination of compact size, dependable blowback operation, ergonomic handling, and historical significance makes it an enduring icon in firearm history. For anyone studying early 20th century pistols, the FN-1903 exemplifies the innovative approach John Browning brought to handgun design, balancing reliability, practicality, and elegance in a small yet powerful package.
The Browning FN-1906, also widely known as the FN M1906 or Browning Baby, is one of the most famous pocket pistols of the early 20th century. It was designed by the legendary firearms designer John Moses Browning and produced by the Belgian manufacturer Fabrique Nationale FN starting in 1906. This pistol was intended primarily for personal self-defense and quickly became popular among civilians, police officers, and some military personnel due to its compact size, reliability, and ease of concealment. The Browning FN-1906 was chambered for the .25 ACP or 6.35 by 15 mm Browning cartridge and operated on a simple blowback system with a fixed barrel and a moving slide. This straightforward design contributed greatly to the weapon's durability and dependable functioning. One of the most notable features of the Browning FN-1906 was its advanced safety system for the time. It was equipped with a grip safety at the rear of the frame, a magazine safety that prevented firing when the magazine was removed, and in some variants, an additional manual thumb safety. These multiple safety mechanisms significantly reduced the risk of accidental discharge, making the pistol particularly attractive for everyday carry. The pistol used a single-action trigger mechanism and typically fed from a detachable magazine holding 6 rounds. In terms of dimensions, the Browning FN-1906 had an overall length of approximately 114 mm, a barrel length of about 53 mm, and an unloaded weight of roughly 340 to 360 grams, making it extremely light and compact. Although the .25 ACP cartridge was relatively low in power compared to larger military calibers, it was considered adequate for close-range self-defense, especially when combined with the pistol's controllability and accuracy at short distances. The ergonomic grip and smooth lines allowed the pistol to be easily carried in a pocket or small holster without discomfort. The Browning FN 1906 served as the basis for many later pocket pistol designs and was produced in very large numbers, with millions manufactured and distributed worldwide. Today, it is regarded as an important milestone in firearms history, symbolizing the successful combination of safety, compact design, and practical use, and it remains highly valued among collectors and historians. The Smith & Wesson Model 3 is one of the most historically significant revolvers of the late 19th century and represents a major technological step forward in the development of modern handguns. Introduced in 1870 by the American firearms manufacturer Smith & Wesson, the Model 3 became widely known for its innovative top-break revolver design, which distinguished it from the solid-frame revolvers commonly used at the time. This design allowed the revolver to be opened by hinging the frame upward, enabling rapid ejection of spent cartridges and much faster reloading, an important advantage for military, law enforcement, and civilian users. One of the defining features of the Smith & Wesson Model 3 was its automatic extraction system. When the revolver was opened, a star-shaped extractor simultaneously removed all spent cartridge cases from the cylinder. This mechanism greatly improved reload speed compared to earlier revolvers that required manual removal of each cartridge. The Model 3 typically had a 6-round cylinder, which was standard for service revolvers of the era. The revolver was initially chambered in .44 S&W American, a centerfire cartridge developed specifically for this model. Later versions were produced in other calibers, most notably .45 Schofield, which was adopted by the United States Army. The .45 Schofield cartridge was slightly shorter than the .45 Colt round, allowing it to function more reliably in the Model 3's extraction system. This variant became especially well known due to its military service and association with cavalry units. In terms of construction, the Smith & Wesson Model 3 featured a steel frame, a single and double-action trigger system depending on the variant, and barrel lengths commonly ranging from 5 to 7 inches. The revolver offered good balance, manageable recoil, and respectable accuracy for its time. Its ergonomic grip and relatively light weight made it comfortable to carry and easy to handle, further increasing its popularity. Several notable variants of the Model 3 were produced, including the American model, the Schofield model, the Russian model, and the new model No. 3. The Russian model was particularly important as it was produced under contract for the Imperial Russian Army and included design modifications requested by Russian officials. This marked one of the earliest large-scale international military handgun contracts and demonstrated the global reputation of Smith & Wesson firearms. Historically, the Smith & Wesson Model 3 played a crucial role during the American frontier era, where it was widely used by soldiers, lawmen, and civilians. Its reliability, speed of reloading, and mechanical sophistication made it a respected sidearm in a period when personal firearms were essential for survival and security. The revolver was also exported to numerous countries, further solidifying its international influence. In conclusion, the Smith & Wesson Model 3 stands as a landmark firearm in the history of revolver development. Its innovative top-break mechanism, efficient extraction system, and military adoption set new standards for handgun design in the late 19th century. For a seminar presentation, the Model 3 serves as an excellent example of how mechanical innovation, practical design, and historical context combine to shape the evolution of modern firearms.
The Orbea Hermanos revolver was produced by the Spanish arms manufacturer Orbea Hermanos, a company founded in 1840 in the city of Eibar, Spain, a region historically famous for firearms production. The company was established by the Orbea brothers and became one of the most important Spanish arms manufacturers of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. While Orbea Hermanos later became well known for bicycles, during the 1800s it was primarily a producer of military and civilian firearms, especially revolvers. One of the most significant products of the company was its line of revolvers manufactured between the 1870s and the early 1900s. These revolvers were strongly influenced by Smith & Wesson designs, particularly the American top-break double-action revolvers. Orbea Hermanos legally produced these revolvers under license and patent agreements, which allowed them to manufacture high-quality European versions of Smith & Wesson mechanisms. Many of these revolvers were marked ONA, a word meaning good in the Basque language, and they are often referred to as the Orbea Hermanos ONA revolver. The Orbea Hermanos revolver was typically a double-action center-fire revolver with a top-break frame. This design allowed the revolver to hinge open at the top, automatically ejecting spent cartridge cases when opened, which greatly increased reloading speed compared to solid-frame revolvers. The cylinder usually held 5 or 6 rounds, depending on the caliber. This made the revolver practical for military officers, police forces, and civilian self-defense. Orbea Hermanos revolvers were produced in several calibers, including .32, .38, and .44 caliber, with the .44 Russian 11mm variant being among the most powerful and widely used. These revolvers fired center-fire cartridges, which were more reliable and powerful than earlier rimfire ammunition. The barrels were typically between 4 and 6 inches in length, offering a balance between accuracy and portability. In terms of construction, the revolver featured a steel frame, often finished in blued or nickel-plated steel, with wooden or hard rubber grips. The sights were simple and practical, consisting of a fixed front blade and a rear notch integrated into the frame. The revolver was designed for durability and ease of maintenance, qualities that were highly valued by military and law enforcement users of the time. Historically, the Orbea Hermanos revolver was officially adopted and widely used by Spanish military officers and the Guardia Civil, especially after royal decrees in the 1880s approved its service use. It became one of the most common service revolvers in Spain during this period and was also exported to various countries in Europe and Latin America. By the 1890s, Orbea Hermanos had become one of the largest revolver producers in Spain, manufacturing dozens of revolvers per day. In conclusion, the Orbea Hermanos revolver represents an important example of late 19th century European revolver design. Combining American mechanical influence, Spanish craftsmanship, and practical military features, it was a reliable, powerful, and modern firearm for its time. Its double-action mechanism, top-break design, and multiple caliber options made it a respected and widely used revolver in both military and civilian roles, securing its place in firearms history. The Garate Anitua revolver belongs to a family of firearms produced by the Spanish arms manufacturer Garate Anitua y Compañía, which operated in the city of Eibar during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Eibar was one of the most important weapons manufacturing centers in Europe at the time, hosting many of Spain's renowned gun-making firms. Garate Anitua specialized in short-barreled firearms intended for military, police, and civilian use, and their products were exported to Europe and other regions. The design of Garate Anitua revolvers was largely influenced by the well-known Colt and Smith & Wesson revolvers of the era. This reflects a broader pattern in Spanish gun-making, where manufacturers often adopted successful foreign models and adapted them for local production. Despite these influences, Garate Anitua revolvers stood out for their durability, simplicity, and relative affordability. These revolvers typically featured a double-action mechanism, allowing firing either by cocking the hammer manually or by simply pulling the trigger. One of the most famous Garate Anitua models is the Old Pattern revolver, produced during the First World War. This revolver was manufactured to meet a British Army contract and was intended as a sidearm for officers. It used .455 Webley cartridges, which were standard for British military revolvers at the time. The revolver had a 6-round cylinder, providing reliability and effectiveness in combat situations.
Its frame was hinged, allowing the cylinder to swing down for quick reloading, a feature typical of Webley-style revolvers. Technically, Garate Anitua revolvers weighed approximately 0.7 kilograms, with barrel lengths around 4 to 5 inches, and utilized centerfire cartridges. The metal components were generally made of steel, while the grips were crafted from wood or ebonite. The simplicity of their mechanism made them easy to maintain and well-suited for long-term use. The company also produced smaller civilian and police models, such as .38 caliber revolvers, often referred to as detective models, which were designed for concealed carry. These compact revolvers gained popularity among police officers and civilians due to their portability and reliability. In summary, Garate Anitua revolvers are significant examples of Spanish firearms manufacturing. They served both military and civilian needs during their time and were recognized for their robustness and reliability. Today, these revolvers are valued by collectors and military history enthusiasts, representing an important piece of early 20th century European gun-making heritage.
The Trocaola revolver is a relatively rare firearm produced in Italy during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, primarily known today among collectors and historians. Manufactured by Trocaola & Co., based in Naples, it reflects the general technical and design trends of European firearms of that era. Although not widely adopted as a standard military weapon, it was intended mainly for civilian self-defense and in some cases for local police or auxiliary use. Its reputation in its time was built on reliability and craftsmanship rather than mass production. In terms of design, Trocaola revolvers were influenced by French Le Faucheux systems, Belgian Liège firearms, and elements of the British revolver tradition, which is evident in both the mechanism and external appearance. Technically, most Trocaola models were double-action, allowing the shooter to fire by simply pulling the trigger, while also permitting single-action firing for more precise shots. They typically featured a 6-round cylinder and were chambered for common Italian and European cartridges of the period, such as 9mm or 10.35mm rounds. Earlier variants were designed for pinfire cartridges, while later models were adapted to centerfire ammunition. The frame and barrel were usually made of steel, while the grips were crafted from wood or ebonite. The design was functional and straightforward, with minimal decorative elements, though some examples bear the manufacturer's mark, the city of Naples, and serial numbers, making them highly valuable to collectors today. Overall, the Trocaola revolver represents an important, though lesser-known, part of Italian firearms history. While it could not compete on a global scale with mass-produced revolvers like the Colt, Smith & Wesson, or Nagant, it illustrates the quality craftsmanship of smaller workshops and the role of civilian firearms in late 19th and early 20th century Europe. Discussing the Trocaola revolver in a seminar provides insight into the evolution of European firearms production, the distinction between small artisan workshops and large factories, and the significance of civilian defense weapons in that period.
The Velodog revolver is a small pocket revolver that appeared in Europe at the end of the 19th century and represents a unique example of a firearm created for a very specific civilian purpose. The name Velodog comes from the combination of the words velocipede, an early term for a bicycle, and dog, which clearly reflects its original role. It was designed primarily for cyclists who needed a compact and easily carried means of protection against aggressive dogs encountered on rural and urban roads. The revolver was first developed in France around 1894 by the well-known firearms designer Charles-François Galland, and it was later promoted and commercialized by his son René Galland. As cycling became increasingly popular across Europe, the idea behind the Velodog spread rapidly, and soon many manufacturers in countries such as Belgium, Spain, Germany, Italy, and Russia began producing their own versions, resulting in dozens of slightly different models that shared the same general concept. From a design perspective, the Velodog revolver was built to be as compact, simple, and snag-free as possible. Most examples feature a concealed or shrouded hammer, which prevents the weapon from catching on clothing when drawn quickly from a pocket. This design choice also meant that the revolver was typically double action only, so pulling the trigger both rotated the cylinder and fired the cartridge without the need to manually cock the hammer. Many models either lacked a traditional trigger guard or used a folding trigger that lay flush with the frame when not in use, further improving concealability and comfort during everyday carry. The barrel was usually very short, emphasizing portability rather than accuracy at long range, and the overall construction was straightforward and robust, suitable for civilian use rather than military service. The original Velodog revolvers were chambered for a proprietary 5.75mm centerfire cartridge, which was developed specifically for this weapon. This cartridge was relatively low-powered, producing modest recoil and limited stopping power, but it was considered sufficient to deter animals at close distances. Over time, many manufacturers also produced Velodog-style revolvers in more common calibers, such as .22 long rifle or .25 ACP, making ammunition easier to obtain. An unusual and distinctive aspect of the Velodog concept was the availability of special non-lethal or semi-lethal ammunition, including cartridges loaded with cayenne pepper, dust, or lightweight projectiles made from wax, wood, or cork. These rounds were intended to scare or discourage animals without causing fatal injuries, reflecting the revolver's original defensive and humanitarian intent. In terms of technical characteristics, a typical Velodog revolver was a small, lightweight handgun with a 5-shot cylinder, a very short barrel, usually around 38 to 45 millimeters in length, and an overall size small enough to fit easily in a pocket. It operated in double-action mode, often had a concealed hammer, and used simple loading systems that varied by manufacturer, such as side loading gates or break-open frames. Its effective range was limited, and accuracy was secondary to ease of carry and rapid deployment. The revolver was never intended for military use or high-intensity combat, but rather for personal protection at extremely close range. Historically, the Velodog revolver is significant because it illustrates how social trends, such as the rise of cycling in the late 19th century, directly influenced firearm design. Although it began as a niche weapon for cyclists, it soon became popular as a general personal defense revolver among civilians, particularly in urban Europe during the Belle Epoque period. Today, the Velodog is valued mainly as a historical and collectible firearm, admired for its unusual purpose, compact engineering, and the insight it provides into civilian life and security concerns at the turn of the 20th century.